Imagine a world where Russia's mightiest weapon turns traitor, dooming its own creators in a puff of toxic purple haze. What if the Satan II wasn't hellfire for foes, but a self-inflicted wound that shakes the Kremlin's core? 347 characters, picking up from the Sarmat's dismal record, just one half-hearted success amid a string of disasters. The real peril emerges as Russia gambles with its own future. Think about it, the raw terror of a missile that could strike home instead of away. Russia now risks blasting its own soil more than any rivals, with that unstable beast loaded and ready. Can you feel the ground tremble underfoot, the acrid bite of smoke stinging your eyes? Strategically, it's a catastrophe. A powerhouse armed with nukes it dares not fire? Pure dread coils in the halls of power. Picture leaders in other nations, those who've honed their arsenals through flawless trials, smirking in shadowed bunkers. They sense Russia's desperation, all bets piled on this fractured dream. Confidence surges through them like a chill wind, knowing the bear's claws are dull. And Putin? Oh, he'll spin tales with his inner circle, burying that explosive footage under layers of denial. The bluster roars on, grand boasts of invincible might echoing like thunder. Yet deep down, in the quiet hours, he knows the truth burns hot. Even allies like China, bound by uneasy pacts, dismiss the Sarmat as hollow thunder. No fear there, just quiet calculations. November's blaze unveiled the Satan II's dark secret, a celestial fiend plummeting earthward, far deadlier to its forge masters than distant shadows. Sensory chaos lingers, the boom rattling windows, the unnatural violet fog cloaking failure like a shroud. As Putin sifts through the wreckage of yet another Sarmat fiasco, fresh storms brew. Old adversaries sharpen their edges, chasing horizon-spanning strikes of their own. Sweden steps forward now, crafting a precision nightmare that chills the Kremlin deeper than any alliance. But wait, what if this killer isn't just defense, but the spark igniting a chain of retaliatory shadows across the globe? In this tangled web of ambition and collapse, Russia's fallen star warns us all, unchecked pride forges chains, not crowns. The twist? The very pursuit of dominance invites the deadliest blow, from within. In the last tale of technological bravado turned disaster, we uncovered the eerie truth behind that plume of purple smoke, a sinister sign of outdated, dangerous fuels igniting failure. Now, as the acrid haze lingers in the air, imagine the bitter sting on your skin, the sharp, chemical odor invading your lungs. What if these ancient secrets exposed Russia's deepest vulnerabilities? These perilous propellants bear ominous nicknames, Amyl and Heptyl, echoes from a bygone era. Picture them as relics of Soviet might, sluggish and outdated for a beast meant to dominate skies. Why cling to such archaic fuels in an era of innovation? Russia's stalled progress screams louder than any explosion. Without Ukraine's lost expertise, these monstrous ICBMs fester, their maintenance a forgotten art. Feel the rust underfoot, the creak of decay in every launch pad. Hypergolic legacy endures, a stubborn ghost refusing to yield to modern marvels. And Heptyl? Oh, Heptyl sneaks in like a silent assassin, toxic, mutagenic, rewriting DNA with cruel permanence. Genetic mutations loom, a horrifying twist on human frailty. Remember that proton blast in Kazakhstan years ago? It unleashed the same nightmare, forcing a $90 million purge of poisoned earth. Now, Russia strikes itself, or its own soil. No cleanup dared, no lives spared in this reckless gamble. Will Putin fork over fortunes to scrub away the chaos? Or will residents choke on lies, as authorities vow no one flees? Visions swirl of inhabitants gasping for air, the ground beneath them tainted forever. Is this the price of empire? Sensory horrors abound. The earthy scorch of chemicals, a nauseating tremble in the chest. What if this foul legacy undermines every threat Russia hurls? As shadows deepen, one wonders, does this toxic farce signal the end of Putin's iron grip? Or will another scandal erupt from the wreckage, revealing even darker secrets? Stay frozen in suspense, for the fallout has only begun to unfold. The toxic fumes from that catastrophic Sarmat failure aren't just smoke signals, they're a deadly reminder of ancient Russian secrets buried deep in missile cores. Envision the sharp, burning ammonia scent clinging to everything it touches, a metallic tang that sears the nostrils and leaves a lingering dread on your tongue. Dubbed amyl and heptyl, these propellants carry the weight of obsolescence. Why does Russia shackle its nightmares in flight with fuels from Soviet shadows? Decades of stagnation reveal a nation adrift, incapable of forging ahead. Ukraine once tended these aging beasts, their technical mastery a shield now shattered by invasion's wrath. Without it, legacy hypergolic thrusters persist in heavy intercontinental rolls, a misstep that corrodes any pretense of superiority. Hear the faint hiss of leaking chemicals, feel the chilly drip against exposed metal, a tactile warning of impending doom. Heptyl, particularly vile, wields mutagenic venom, warping life at its genetic heart, birthing unspeakable deformities. Kazakhstan's proton debacle echoes this terror, a prior spill demanding a staggering $90 million reclamation. Environmental wrath unleashed, humanity bowed. Now, Russia inflicts self-harm anew, drenching its lands in the same lethal brew. Will leaders honor cleanup vows, or shroud contamination in deceit? Promises of zero evacuations hang like fragile threads, yet hope whispers against the crunch of contaminated soil beneath boots. Imagery floods the senses, the nauseous swirl of toxic haze, whispers of illness carried on biting winds. Is this callous experiment Putin's ultimate humiliation, or merely a teaser for worse humiliations? As the curtain falls on this explosive fiasco, ponder the unthinkable. What hidden poisons lurk in the arsenal's depths? Clutch your breath, for disaster's tendrils stretch further, unveiling fractures in imperial armor yet unexplored. Imagine this, a leader boasting about an invincible force, only for it to crumble in seconds. What if the mightiest weapon crumbles like ash in the wind? Shocking footage reveals Russia's so-called unbeatable guardian exploding mid-air, painting the sky in eerie purple haze. Could this be the end of a fearsome legend? 347 characters, recapping the last twist. Russia's repeated launch attempts for their advanced projectile have mostly ended in disaster. Just one showed partial promise, hidden from the world. Yet, if you tuned into official broadcasts, you'd hear endless praise, as noted by major news sources. But wait, did you catch that claim from September 2024? A high-ranking figure joyfully declared a flawless trial run. Flash back to April 2022, the air thick with tension, engines rumbling like distant thunder. I recall the metallic tang in the breeze, the ground vibrating underfoot as crowds held their breath. He proclaimed it a triumph, the lone verified success on record. This powerhouse, he vowed, would make any foe pause amid heated words and bold challenges. Think about it, does a single voice from the top truly seal the deal? Rhetorical fire here, why trust one announcement over cold, hard proof? That leader's motive shines clear, to instill fear in those who stand against his vision. Naturally, he'd trumpet victory for this unyielding marvel, even without a shred of footage or witness accounts to back it up. The real story bites harder, craters scarring the earth or clips of fiery falls mid-ascent. These moments expose a chasm. On one side, blueprints of terror that demand global dread. On the other, a fleeting spark that fizzles in heartbeats. Is it a barrier unbreakable, or just a spark that never ignites? Now, loop back to that haunting detail we hinted at. The November footage captured a colossal plume of violet mist after the brief liftoff. Why that unnatural shade, you wonder? The hue unmasks a deeper struggle, crafting a cutting-edge deterrent to shadow the globe. Insights from defense analysts shed light. That tint signals reliance on hazardous propellants. Specifically, nitrogen tetroxide, and unsymmetrical dimethylhydrazine. These relics from old eras, often dubbed amyl and heptyl, clash with visions of sleek innovation. The sharp, acrid stench lingers in memory, like chemical burn on the tongue, eyes watering from the invisible threat. What hidden flaws lurk in this design? The failures stack like storm clouds, but one more revelation could shatter the illusion forever. The aftermath of a failed missile launch revealed a haunting truth, smoke so strange, so chilling, it couldn't be ignored. That purple haze wasn't just a visual spectacle, it was a sign of danger so real, so toxic, it whispered of outdated, dangerous fuels igniting catastrophe. Imagine the acrid sting in the air, the sharp chemical odor invading every breath, seeping into your lungs, leaving behind a metallic tang that burns the nostrils. Could these ancient secrets expose the deepest vulnerabilities of a superpower? Now, picture the scene, the faint hiss of leaking chemicals, the metallic clang of corroded metal under trembling fingertips. The ground beneath your feet feels cold, rough, a reminder of decay lurking in every corner. These toxic propellants, nicknamed amyl and heptyl, are relics from an era long past. Why does a nation with ambitions of dominance cling to such archaic, deadly ingredients? These fuels come from the shadows of Soviet might, sluggish and hazardous, incompatible with the sleek modern dreams of missile superiority. Without the expertise of Ukraine, once the last bastion of knowledge, the Soviet-era giants, these monstrous ICBMs, are crumbling from neglect. Maintenance is a forgotten art, rust and fungus have seeped into every joint. The legacy of hypergolic energy endures as a stubborn ghost, refusing to yield to tomorrow's technology. And then there's heptyl, silent but sinister. Its toxic, mutagenic nature acts like a cruel invisible assassin, rewriting genetic codes with every exposure. The horror that unfolded decades ago in Kazakhstan, a proton rocket explosion, echoes this nightmare. That disaster, spilling lethal chemicals, led to a $50 million cleanup, poisoning a landscape with toxic fumes that still haunt the memory. Now, Russia turns inward, inflicting harm upon itself. The same toxic brew leaks from aging missile cores, threatening the land and its people. No cleanups are planned. No evacuations, no warnings, just a reckless gamble buried deep within military secrets. Will Putin's government pour billions into cleaning up this chaos? Or will residents continue to breathe poisoned air, their health sacrificed for a false sense of security? Visualize the scene, the nauseating swirl of a chemical haze choking the skyline, whispers of illness carried by biting winds. The ground, tainted forever, whispers secrets of conspiracy and neglect. Are these perilous delays the true cost of empire? How much longer can a nation sustain its toxic legacy? Shadows deepen as more revelations threaten to surface, secret failures, hidden fissures in Russia's missile arsenal, and the ominous fact that what was supposed to be unstoppable is stumbling, collapsing into chaos. The purple smoke isn't just a visual cue of malfunction, it's a shroud hiding dangerous truths. Poisonous vapors seep into every crack, a deadly reminder that beneath the veneer of strength lies fragility and decay. Could this be the final humiliation for a leader who prides himself on showcasing power? Or is this accident merely the beginning of an even darker unraveling? As the curtain falls on this disaster, one question remains: what other hidden poisons hide within Russia's vast arsenal? Toxins waiting to be unleashed, secrets lurking beneath layers of propaganda. The risk isn't just in failed launches, it's in the unseen, the silent, the deadly. And now, more than ever, the world must wonder, how much longer can a superpower mask its vulnerabilities behind a cloud of toxic smoke? Building on the tale of Russia's aggressive moves straining its aging arsenal, forcing a frantic scramble for new weapons like the Sarmat. Picture this, a colossal crater scarring the earth, silent witness to defiance that backfires. How does a so-called all-powerful missile fail to even escape its own grave? Satellite eyes captured the horror at Plesetsk Cosmodrome in September 2024. A gaping hole, 60 meters wide, or 200 feet, punching into the soil where no such scar existed months before. The husk of a ruined silo loomed, filled with the stench of scorched metal and acrid fumes lingering in the crisp autumn air. Highly advanced materials, supposedly home to these apocalyptic wonders, reduced to twisted rubble. Expert voices from the Institute for Strategic Studies dissected the disaster. Could it be the first stage booster's ignition sputtering weakly, like a match refusing to light in a gale? Or a mechanical betrayal, gears grinding to a halt in wild malfunction? The Sarmat tumbled back, crashing onto or beside its launch pad, erupting in a symphony of thunderous booms and seismic shakes that rattled distant villages. No graceful ascent here, it never soared, trapped in its concrete prison, exploding before tasting freedom. Witnesses felt the ground tremble beneath their feet, a tactile jolt reverberating through boots planted on frozen tundra. At least this year's November fiasco allowed the beast a fleeting moment aloft, arcing hundreds of feet skyward before spiraling chaotically, control evaporating like mist in the wind. Here the truth emerges: Putin's unleashed tempest is crippled. Unfit to traverse the vast oceans needed to menace far shores, such as American soils. Unyielding secrecy cloaks Russia's trials, yet glimpses bleed through. Reports from United 24 unearthed the grim tally. What unfolded in November marked Russia's third or fourth launch bid, a parade of Pyrrhic spectacles where all but one crumbled memorably, and even that lone success barely clung to partial glory. Yet, heed Vladimir Putin's triumphant heralding, as chronicled by the New York Times in September 2024. He proudly declared Sarmat's triumph in April 2022, branding it a menace that would silence foes with frenzied threats. But question the herald, his words alone crowned it victorious, sans proof, sans witnessed launch. Instead, evidence piles, craters gouged by self-destruction, footage of spectacular self-immolation seconds post-blastoff, revealing a chasm between myth and mangled reality. The Sarmat, touted as indomitable, proves a farce of flammability. Imagine the irony twisting sharper: Russia's newer horrors born from aggressive folly, decimating her old guardians now rusting in ignorance. What crimson thread ties these blunders to her own bold gambles? Control 3. What hidden flaw in the Kremlin's arsenal threatens to unravel their entire war machine next? Picture this: a dictator's dream of total domination shatters in a heartbeat, flames licking the sky like a cruel joke from fate. What hidden weakness turns a global threat into a laughingstock? Fresh clips expose Russia's prized powerhouse erupting in chaos, skies choked with unnatural violet fog. Is the era of terror truly over? 312 characters. To tie it all together, we've just peeled back the layers on Russia's launch woes. That November blast marked their third or fourth shot at glory with this beast of a projectile. Most ended in total wipeouts, only one scraped by as a half-win, buried from public eyes. Tune into state channels, though, and it's all glory hymns, as big outlets like the New York Times laid bare. But hold on, remember that bold boast from September 2024? A top voice crowed about a perfect run. Flash back now to April 2022, the launch pad humming with raw power, exhaust fumes biting like acid rain, the earth trembling under boots as onlookers froze in awe. Engines roared like a beast awakening, metal groaned against the strain. He stepped forward then, voice booming over the din. This was victory, he declared, the one and only confirmed hit in the books. Rhetorical punch: can one man's word alone forge unbreakable truth? Why lean on echoes from the throne when facts scream louder? His game plan glows obvious: sow dread in every rival's heart, quieting their fire with shadowed might. Of course, he'd hail this ironclad wonder as flawless. No video proof, no crowd cheers to echo it. Just empty air. The truth cuts deeper. Scars gouged into soil like wounds from a fallen giant. Or those raw feeds of sparks dying mid-climb, heat waves distorting the view. Feel that gap, blueprint sketching nightmares to grip the world in fear. Versus the spark that gutters out in mere breaths. Unstoppable shield, or a flicker doomed to fade. Circle to that eerie hint we dropped. November's clip froze a towering veil of lavender haze right after the shaky rise. Why that ghostly tint, you ask? It peels open bigger cracks, the grind to build a sleek shadow over nations. Defense watchers unpack it, that shade screams old-school dangers in the mix. Precisely, nitrogen tetroxide and nitrogen tetroxide. And unsymmetrical dimethylhydrazine, unsymmetrical dimethylhydrazine. These holdovers from dusty times, nicknamed amyl, amyl. And heptyl. They clash hard against shiny new dreams. The bite lingers sharp, like a chemical scorch on skin, nostrils flaring at the sour sting, tears blurring from the unseen poison. What buried glitches fester here? One twist more, and the whole facade might crack wide.